Tico page for the chat. I believe the chat is happening on the LAR page, so I'm going to go to there. But we pulled back right back to the 50-day moving average, and the Euro's rallied. So 110.80 looks right to me. Perhaps we're going to get this rally to sell in Euro Pound up around 78.50. Ricardo called this low. Let me go to the LAR page so I could see what you guys are saying. Hello, Mihail. Alien, how's everyone doing today? Dion, Alien, Mauricio, everyone doing okay? Okay. We're going to have Norm Winsky with us. I'm going to forward the link to Norm. Let me just go to my email to get it. And we'll get Norm's views on what the planets are saying here. And that's how we'll start this segment with Norm Winsky. I did it, Adinda. I did it. If it's the same one I clicked on, he's got it. Everyone doing all right? You guys enjoyed the NFP? Everyone doing okay after the NFP? Hello, Dion. Okay. So we're waiting for Norm Winsky to join us. Maybe that's him. I heard something here. Hi, Norm.
Hello, Dale. I'm here.
Okay, I see you, but I see a blank screen, though.
Okay, let's fix that. Give me a moment.
Okay,
I
Norm.
think you clicked on the green arrow box there, right?
Right.
And
everyone, this is Norm Winsky. Norm comes to join us about once a month when he has some significant turning points astronomically to share with us. His website is www.astro-trend.com. Norm is one of the pioneers of modern astronomical trading. I've learned a lot from Norm Winsky over the last year or so that he's been joining us. So thank you again, Norm, for being with us today and have this big NFP number. So I know anytime I get an email from you, buddy, and you say, can I be on your show Feb 12th, March 4th, December 8th, that the reason you want to be on is because you're seeing some potentially significant turning points. So I'm going to turn it over to you. Norm likes to go over what his forecast did the previous month before we get into March. Take it away, Norm Winsky.
okay, well, this time I thought I'd skip over the review just so we could get a little more in because there's quite a few things coming up. So I don't know if did you get the notes?
Power of attorney. I'm giving you power of attorney over your interview.
Alrighty, do you see the notes on the screen?
I can, but they're cut off a little bit on the right-hand side.
How can we fix that? I don't know.
Maybe change the print on it. Okay, so the right-hand side of your notes, and then I saw the S&P chart.
Does that do anything when I move it around like that?
Try the other way. Move it the other way.
How about that way?
No, the other way.
That way.
Keep going. Is that as far as you could go?
That's up to the farthest to the left I can go. I can make it smaller, maybe.
Yeah, try that.
How about that? Does that help?
It's still being cut off on the right. You have a big margin on the left. I'm not sure why.
How about that? Does that help any?
A little better, but still cut off. But why don't you just go ahead and you know, we get most of it, and you could fill in the blanks.
All right, so, maybe on the page, maybe page setup would do it.
Go ahead if you want to try something else. We have
because if I make it any smaller, I won't be able to read it. You know.
Okay, well we have the whole hour, so if you want to work on it,
No, well,
before you begin, that's fine.
I don't want to waste. Don't want to waste your time, Dale. So we'll just go ahead here.
That never happens when you're on, Norm.
What's that?
That never happens when you're on. Waste of time.
Thank you. All right, so here we go. So coming up here the weekend, on average, from the point of view of the Earth, Mars changes signs about every 5 weeks. Although I think Mars is starting to slow down because every couple of years it goes into stops and then goes into what's called retrograde, where it looks like it's going backwards from the point of view of the Earth due to the rolling motion of the Earth. But generally, on average, about every 5 weeks we go into a different sign with Mars. So it's going into Sagittarius. So that's often a change in trend for the stock market, and specifically Sagittarius has to do with oats, which I just report. I know not many people care about oats, except unless you're a goat or a sheep or something, I guess, right?
Mares eat oats and does eat oats. And
there you go.
Little lambs eat ivy.
Little lambs eat ivy. There you go. So, and also over the weekend, we have a moderately important angle between Jupiter and Uranus. And this has to also, Jupiter, anytime Jupiter is involved, that also is oats. You'll think I'm oats crazy here because a lot of Jupiter stuff happening. And also Virgo, which is soybeans. Quite a few people trade soybeans. And Uranus, which is copper. Copper is very important to watch because copper has a PhD in economics, a good leading indicator for the economy. So we have a possible copper's been moving up here the last several weeks, so you want to watch for a possible top in copper. That's also involving the stock market. Then coming up next week, there's sort of a general pattern here for March. That as we go through March, leading up to about the third week of the month, we sort of crescendo into the big fireworks. So as we go along.
So is it near the equinox where all the fireworks are going to happen, and mid-month is a Fed meeting?
Right. Well, we're getting that. I'm just saying there's a general pattern that as we go, things kind of culminate into big fireworks in the third week of the month. Okay. There'll be more things coming along here, but it sort of accelerates as we go. So then next week on the night of the 8th, we have a solar eclipse. A solar eclipse occurs usually twice a year. That's a special kind of new moon where the moon gets between the Earth and the sun and blocks out the sun. And so that's going to happen on the night of Tuesday the 8th. And typically that doesn't, historically has not had that much a correlation for the stock market, but it does tend to have an effect on commodities. And this time it's occurring in Pisces, which is the sign for oil. So since the stock market has been sort of oil sensitive lately, this might be the exception to the rule in the stock market. If the oil has a big turn right around that time, then the stock market may also respond. Generally speaking, any kind of new moon or full moon, the lunar sensitive markets tend to be the precious metals and the grains tend to be lunar sensitive. So since this solar eclipse is a lunar lunar event, then you might want to watch those markets.
I've seen solar eclipses be important turning points in the dollar before.
There you go, and the currencies I think are also lunar sensitive. That's right.
Okay.
A friend of mine once did a computer study, and he found that the Japanese yen was very lunar sensitive. It returned very nicely with new moons, full moons, that sort of thing.
Okay. I was talking solar eclipse. I've seen dollar turns on solar eclipses.
Okay. Then we also have on the morning of the 9th, we have an important, moderately important angle for with the U.S. chart, which is an important factor for any U.S. financials such as U.S. stocks, T-bonds, and the U.S. dollar. Then we're going to jump ahead till the 16th, which is Fed Day, as you mentioned. And by coincidence, we have Jupiter making an important major 120-degree angle to Pluto. Pluto is the planet for central banking, debt, things of that nature. So that is very apropos, very appropriate for a Fed meeting day. So by coincidence, we got big things happening there right when the Fed is meeting on the 16th. And so you want to watch for, let's see, your markets for that will be cocoa, because Pluto's also cocoa and hogs, and Pluto's in Capricorn, that's coffee. So that, and then Jupiter is involved. There's your in Virgo, that's soybeans, and so we have cocoa, coffee, hogs, oats, soybeans, stocks, and T-bonds. And if the notes are cut off, if the folks will contact me, I will supply. These are basically coming right out of my monthly letter, which I published last Sunday, and so they can get. This is just a minuscule fraction of my. I got a letter that goes close to 40 pages, so this is just a small sampling of what's in my letter. Coming
Great
up
letter,
on.
though.
Thank you. Coming up just after the vernal equinox, we have on the 22nd, the night of the 22nd, we have Jupiter making a 90-degree angle. That's, if you think about these angles, they're all basic harmonics of a circle, 360 degrees in a circle. You divide the circle by 1, 2, 3, 4. You get your basic astrological angles. Divided by 2, you get 180. Divided by 3, you get 120. Divided by 4, you get 90, and so forth. So these are the key angles that cause the big action. So Jupiter's going to be 90 degrees to Saturn, and so that's going to be, let's see, so you want to watch for coffee, oats, soybeans, and stocks. Then, coming up on the morning of the 23rd, and we have the full moon lunar eclipse. You may remember, Dale, that our last lunar eclipse occurred on a Sunday night, September the 27th. There were forecasts back then for the end of the world. Some prophets of doom and gloom. I said that the stock market didn't like lunar eclipses, and within a day we should get a big down. And the next month, on Monday, the stock market gapped down, I think, about 300 Dow points, and that was an important low also. And then we started going up, which I forecasted that we should rally into December, which was what happened.
Is it unusual for a month to have both a solar and lunar eclipse within the same month, or is that not unusual?
Say that again. You were kind of fuzzy there. Do that again.
Is it unusual or not for a month to have both a solar
that's
and a
typical.
lunar,
Yeah,
and a lunar eclipse?
Twice a year. You're in the eclipse season. It's a half of 49 weeks. So every, what is that? 26, 27 weeks. Every 27 weeks you're in the eclipse season. So it's twice a year, and then you have usually a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse but within about the same month.
Okay, so they happen together quite.
They happen in pairs, right?
Okay, beautiful. Thank you. I learned something new.
Okay, so the stock market doesn't like lunar eclipses. I went back and researched this. This is back. I first did this research back in the 80s. Went back, I don't know, 30, 40 years or more, and found that 75% of the time, within one trading day of a lunar eclipse, the stock market would typically drop about 1.75%. Somewhere in the range of 1.5% to 2% within one trading day of a lunar eclipse.
Okay, so interesting, Norm, that we have this date coming up and the track record of lunar eclipses. I know that a lot of your dates can be good. The trades could be good for 24, 48 hours. Some of them even longer lasting. I've seen some of your turning points last for weeks and months. Just from your belief system, we had the big worst start in equities and in history. And since then, we're about 61.8 back. We're headed back into resistance in the S&P and Dow. What's your gut feeling about this turning point on the 23rd, that it's going to be a trade or a position that eventually takes out the lows that we had in February?
All right, well, the lunar eclipse is usually rather, unless there's something else involved, which there is now. Let me go one step at a time here. So the lunar eclipse is usually specific to 1 or 2 days. You get a big whack, and then you have to look at ahead. It's a kind of a short-term effect. But what's also happening, I promised you a big crescendo here into the third week of the month. And so on the night of the 24th, that's the next day. By the way, Friday the 25th, we're closed for a holiday. We have a 3-day weekend. And so but the night of the 24th, over that weekend, Saturn will be turning retrograde. You may remember one of my favorite things is what's called station points. Due to the relative motion of the Earth, if you were to plot the planets every night, go out and plot the planets, you would notice that it appears, there's your operative word here, it appears that the planets at certain points look like they stop their motion and then reverse the direction. This is going to happen for Saturn. Saturn is an outer planet. Those are your big, slow-moving planets from Jupiter on out. Those tend to be the most powerful, and so I'm expecting a big change in trend there. There's a pattern to these, and that is that not only can you get a change in trend in the market, these often occur at or near within one trading day of the high or the low of the month. Since we got the big whack right after with the lunar eclipse, like the day before due, then I'm going to stick my neck out here and say that we could be a good chance that we're going to be at the low of the month, right around the 23rd to the 24th of the month.
The low of the month in the S&Ps or the
Low
high?
of the month on the S&P. Low of the month, yes, sir.
Okay, interesting. What I read, I don't know if it was Greek or probably Roman mythology, that the planet Saturn they equated with melancholia, which is depression.
Yes, sir.
Saturn's influence is depressive on asset prices on the stock market because of what it symbolizes.
Right. Well, what I'm saying is, with the lunar eclipse whacking the market, then we're typically the pattern on Saturn going retrograde or direct or any of these outer planets. You're usually at or near the high or the low of the month within one trading day. Well, if the market gets whacked on the lunar eclipse, chances are you're not on near the high of the month. You're going to be more likely to be near the low of the month. You see?
Okay, so it depends on where we're at. If we're going down into this 23rd, 24th, a low, but if we continue higher and the lunar eclipse does not have the same impact and we're going up into this, it could be the high of the month, right?
I would agree with that. I would
we
agree
don't
with
know.
that, but I would agree with that, but I think the odds favor that we're going to be near a low.
Good. Okay.
Okay, and then we have the after the close also on the 24th. There's some things involving the U.S. So that's your U.S. stocks, T-bonds, and U.S. dollar too. So then that's where that's where the big action is, right around the 22nd to the 24th of the month. Okay.
Okay.
Looking ahead, I already kind of talked about the stock market, so we won't go into all the details. Kind of recap. That's kind of rehashes. The stock market is a big basket of everything. So if anything significant is happening, that's going to affect the stock market. But I will pull up a chart here. Here's the bigger picture on my page 3, where we have the longer-term S&P chart, and you can see how we rallied in.
Yeah, and the whole chart is showing. The whole chart is showing. So you're looking for the potential of a full-blown retest of last year's highs. Is that what the green line, or that's just a channel line?
The green line is we've been riding this up on the current rally here is what the green line is.
Okay. All right.
But what this shows is how we had a distribution type pattern here over the past year or so, where we were topping out last year. We topped out. I'm sure you remember, Dale, how I nailed the high day for the DJIA on May the 19th.
I do.
So that shows that, and then that we kind of rolled over here now until we just had this rally here. Now we're rallying up to some important resistance here as we speak right now. And I think you mentioned that we're at a 618 retracement level for the S&P 500, right?
Right.
There you go.
So your lines are showing resistance between 2020 and 2040.
Yes, sir.
So it might be ideal astronomically if we're going up into that resistance into the 23rd, 24th,
Yep,
or we pull back on the lunar eclipse, and then bottom out, and then head up.
could be as low as 2,000. That's the
2000.
one red.
Okay.
You got the one red line there. It's
Okay.
2,000 level. Here's a shorter term S&P where you can see we've kind of had a rising wedge kind of pattern, and the lines are looks like they might be converging here almost immediately in the next day or so. That would indicate some kind of change in trend is due. Moving on ahead here, we got T-bonds coming up. We got a big event coming up on the 16th when the Fed meets. And I'm not saying that because the Fed's meeting there. I'm saying that because Jupiter is making a 120-degree angle to Pluto, and that's a big deal for T-bonds. So I guess Janet Yellen read the stars there and decided to have a Fed meeting then,
Yeah.
And after and that weekend too, we also have from the point of view of the sun, that's Helio. Mars enters Scorpio. Scorpio is the ruling sign for T-bonds. So there we have a couple of important things happening, converging there right around the 17th, plus or minus a day, for T-bonds. Okay. Moving on ahead. Here's your U.S. dollar. It's up until yesterday was in a nice uptrend channel. It's kind of broken that channel now. You had a little violation of the channel here. Still kind of in an uptrend, but now it's getting a little shaky as to the uptrend, because it's broken the uptrend line.
Interesting.
So we have some dates coming up here. Let's see, where's my dates? Did they get cut off? Oh yeah, the big date for the dollar. Next big date for the dollar is the after the close of the 24th. So over that 3-day weekend,
Everything's brewing then.
Right, everything's happening right around that date, that window.
Okay.
That's when we get the heat big medicine. That's the technical term, heat big medicine.
Good one, Liz.
Moving ahead, here's your crude oil. And since everybody's watching crude oil lately, I thought I'd throw that in. And plus, we have the solar eclipse in Pisces. Pisces is the sign for crude oil. And so our next big date coming up for crude oil is on Monday the 7th, and then the 9th, so right around the solar eclipse. Then the 14th and 21, 21, 22. There's your big crude oil dates. Crude oil is kind of trading up into a wedgie kind of pattern too. And those lines are converging here probably within about one trading day. So coming up here, that would also confirm the chart pattern, confirms that Monday is a possible change in trend day for crude oil. Moving on ahead, I always like to throw in some currency stuff for you, Dale. And so on my page 7, we have the Aussie dollar, and I got a change in trend date due for Monday the 7th. So the Aussie dollar, this is probably upside down for your people because I'm doing futures. And so on the Aussie dollar futures versus the dollar, U.S. dollar, we have the Aussie dollar has been rallying sharply, and it broke out of its uptrend channel yesterday. But it may that rally might unless we get a sharp pullback today, we might be setting up for some kind of a little trading top on Monday. The next big date after that is the 14th, and then you go all the way to the end of the month.
Great recap and some important things to be paying attention to. Thanks for showing us some charts today, Norm. And
my pleasure.
So how can we stay in touch with you? And
that's great. Let's talk about how they can get free stuff. All right. So they can get my letter for free.
Okay, if it's free, it's me.
There you go. So it's all free with the money back guarantee, right, Dale?
Yep.
So
I know that you've had maybe 1 or 2 people from LAR that have signed up with you, and I heard good things about it, and a lot of people interested, still on the fence, huh?
Okay. Well, so you get my letter for free. I cover 30 markets. Also, you get there's a 3-hour class that goes with the letter, and we go through there, and you're going to get a virtual college education, trading education in about 3 hours. We're going to cover some astro. some advanced Fibonacci, some you get a crash course in GAN, and all kinds of different things. And the history of the markets, manias, panics. We talk about all kinds of different things, and that goes with the letter. And so you can contact me and get this all free, individual class, and one-to-one. And just contact Norm. That's me. At here's my email, nwinski@embarkmail.com. Can you see the email address, Dale, on the screen?
All your info is there. nwinsky@embarkmail.com. Skype is norm.winsky. Telephone number 239-594-3939. Website, as I said at the beginning of the interview, www.astro-trend.com.
All right, best thing just to go directly to my email or my Skype or call me, because I think there might be some out-of-date information on my website. I hardly ever use the website. It's just there to have a presence on the internet, you know.
Okay, it's your billboard.
I think there's a email on there that might be a problem email. This is the correct email for now, nwinsky@embarkmail.com.
Okay, buddy. Well, thank you.
Yeah, well, thanks for having me on, Dale. Hope everybody has a great day and a great week ahead, and looking forward to helping a lot of your folks.
I encourage people.
Just in case some of your new people are wondering who in the heck is this Norm guy. I got over 40 years experience. I'm a former, as you are, Dale, former Chicago floor trader, and I traded on the Chicago CBOE and the Board of Trade, and so I got a little bit of experience, and been studying the markets all this time, and sort of dedicated my entire adult life to being able to forecast the markets.
Definitely someone that you could learn from in this type of discipline, and Norm has all the basics that he ties into these planetary fractals. Norm covers it all. I encourage anyone who wants a more in-depth knowledge of how the universe works and how it applies to markets to give Norm a shot and at least take his free newsletter to whet your appetite.
Thank you very much, Dale. That was great. Looking forward to helping some of your folks. Everybody have a great day and a great week ahead.
All right, have a great March, Norm. Thanks so much for coming on again.
You betcha.
Good hunting, my trading warrior brother. And you know what, Norm? I still trade on the floor, at times in a fetal position.
Okay.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much, buddy. All right, Norm. That's Norm Winsky, everyone. How about a thank you? How about a thank you for Norm Winsky? And how about give me a Y if anyone already subscribes to Norm's work or has contacted Norm. It's okay, Rick, if you missed it, it's recorded, so you'll be able to go over this interview. There's a lot of information in 20 minutes that Norm shares. Cliff notes to me are big time frame into the 23rd, right around the Mihail has taken the newsletter from you. Okay, so thank you, Norm. Big cluster near the equinox, something I've been talking about for a while. And stand by, everyone. We're going to go into our Lars session. Yes, chat has changed because the TICO page is not functioning. Nice call, Tosin, on the crude oil. Is that what you're talking about, Tosin? So Norm, everyone thanked him. And let's go back to my screen. And I'm going to keep the Laura page up here so I can see your comments, everybody. So how's everyone doing today? Okay. I hope everyone had a decent NFP number. It was pretty wild. Is Midas in the house? Give me a Y if you're here, Midas. Good morning, Rick. So I'm having a hard time with this new chat, seeing everybody that's in here. Hello, Lowell. I see Tosin, Dion's here, Ricardo's here. I haven't done anything today because I'm trying to facilitate the coverage on the NFP, as well as we have another interview coming up in a little over a half an hour. Miad Kasravi from at ZVX Trading will be with us. He's more of a day trading guy. Okay, Tocino's along the gold. Just one warning sign in the gold. Here's drive 1, here's drive 2. We're heading up maybe into this 1280 to 1300 level. Looks a lot like the euro does right now. We've had 2 drives in euro. Waiting for the euro to come up on my charts. My platform's a little slow with everything. So we've had 1, we've had 2. Hi, Jess. How are you, Midas? Okay. So I'm just trying to adjust to this chat that we have here, guys. Why don't you guys see if you could post a chart in this chat if you have any looks that you want to share. Go ahead and post a link here, and let's see if I could share it from this chat. You know, I'm in an I don't know mode. I did believe that the 98.5 level in the Dixie was going to be important resistance, that we'd come off from the 98.50 level, which is exactly what happened, right? So we were looking at this 98.50 level in the Dixie. Dollar bears would be saying we're going to take out the lows here. I'm going to take it a step at a time in the Dixie. So we identified this 98.50 level. That was the breakdown. We rallied back to the breakdown. So I'm going to take it a step at a time and think that maybe we pull back into this 96.50 level in the Dixie here. So I wouldn't buy the dollar here today. I think that we could pull back to 96.5 sometime into next week, and that's going to be a better level to consider shorting euro, in my extremely accurate and humble opinion. You don't have to agree with me, but give me a why if you at least understand the analysis. This was our third drive to a top in the euro, which we identified shorting the euro up near 114. This was a rally back to the breakdown at 98.5. And to me, it looks like we could work down towards this level where my cursor is. Give me a why. Give me a why if you see it. You don't have to agree with me. I just want to make sure that you understand what I'm thinking here. Okay? So if we dig in our heels here at 96.50, you know, maybe this is 1 or A, and this is 2 or B, and then we get a C that could take us to above and clean out all the dollar bears above par. So right now, that's the way I'm leaning. Everyone with me on that? So a little more dollar weakness. The dollar digs in its heels at 96.50. This was over a 300-point move. So let's just say that we get a 1.618 from 96.5. That would be almost 500 points. That would take us to above the 100 level. It's only the second time you agreed with me. That's okay. That's what makes the market. I never claimed that I was perfect. I'm just good, more right than wrong, but far from flawless. Dion's got it. Everyone's got it. So why don't you guys try and post a link here in the chat if you have any market views so I could show it. Someone want to try? Post a link in the chat here and see if it works. Hopefully everything's resolved into next week with Tico, the Tico chat page. Okay, so it is working. Mystic has given us a link. He had a ended up with a break-even trade, or are you shorting here now? So here's a look in the pound for Mystic. Okay, I think we went to 42. Thank you, Mystic. He's shown his trade. He blocked out the balance. BE, good risk management. Thank you, Mystic. I'm going to take a quick 5-minute break here. Really haven't had a break since the NFP started, so I'm going to take one. And here's a few more from Mystic. Short Kiwi Yen. I'll just wrap up showing the rest from Mystic. Thank you, Mystic. Everyone thank Mystic for his looks. Short Kiwi Yen. And here's the Euro chart that he was looking for 110, which was achieved up towards 110. So some nice looks from Mystic. Thank you, Mystic. Everybody could continue to collaborate and share. I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Thank you for your attention today. Hope that our coverage of the NFP added value to your trading day. And I'll be back in 5. Thank you, Larians. Everyone doing okay? I'm back. I like the other chat better. There goes Euro. Nice call by Ricardo. Around 77. This is way too early for me to want to short Euro pound again. There goes the pound. Everyone doing okay? That could be Rick. No one's talking about that. 115. Okay, here's Ricardo's look on the Euro. So that's pointing out we had a reversal week to the upside. If you look at the weekly, okay, this is the weekly. You got a weekly reversal to the upside in the Euro. Talked about that during the NFP. So why can't we go up here again? Nice look, Rick. So it pulled right back to the, didn't quite get to your 750 number, but close enough for government work. Thank you, Rick. Next week looks important. So no one in LAR was a dollar bull going into this number. We all talked about the bear case in the Dixie. So I think Larians were pretty good, pretty well prepared for this dollar sell-off. What do you guys think? Sirik showed the bullish white swan. Rick was talking about Euro pound recovering. So I really don't think that if you were hanging out with us all week, that you were bullish the dollar, right? Was LAR prepared, yes or no, for a lower dollar? We started off with the pound early in the week, looked like we could get a rally to 41, 42. That's something I called. Then we had a lot of calls that said, do not be short the Euro. And here we are. So I think Larians were very well prepared, and I don't think anyone should have been caught long the dollar into this dollar sell-off. If you were listening to the contributions of the community all week, you would not have been short the Euro, short the pound, short the Aussie. If you agree with me, give me a Y. You're not a newbie. You're welcome. So I'm going to try something here, guys. I was chatting with Midas yesterday over Skype, and we were laughing about, my singing that makes Jax cry. I don't know if Jax is here or not. Thank you, Rick. But he gave me an idea for a new song. So I thought I'd try it out on you guys here today. It's called You Ain't Nothing But a Drawdown. You guys ready for a new tune? Let me show Rick's. Yeah. So you co-wrote this one with me, Midas. You wrote it with me. You gave me the idea. So isn't it great to have Midas back, not just for his technical work, but he gave me an idea for a new song. Let me just show Ricardo's. So all the songs I do in here are related to trading. Use less leverage, the LAR theme song. And now I think we have a new one. You guys ready for a live performance? Jax, get your Kleenex out. Yeah. Jax, are you here? If you're here, Jax, get the Kleenex out. So I don't have the, are you ready? You ready to rock, everyone? Give me a Y if you're ready to rock. Huh? Okay. You guys ready? Yeah. I'll even stand. Here, I'll stand up for it. No, I'll sit. Oh, I can't find the key. You ain't nothing but a drawdown and a margin call. You ain't nothing but a drawdown and a margin call. And I'm not scared cause I still believe the call. Never said I was perfect cause that would be a lie. Never said I was perfect cause that would be a lie. But I'm all right and wrong. I could look you and I could look you in the eye. Watch me fly. You ain't nothing but a drawdown and a margin call. You ain't nothing but a drawdown and a margin call. And I'm not scared cause I still believe the call. You ain't nothing but a drawdown. First live performance. You guys like it? Co-written with Midas. What do you think? Did Jax cry? It's destructive trading time. What do you mean? You ain't nothing but a drawdown and a margin call. It's the hound dog. So I don't know what Anonymous is saying. This is destructive trading time. All trading time can be destructive if you're not doing the right things. So there goes the dollar. So I don't know about you guys, but I saw this coming in the dollar. First the pound, then the euro. We had a third drive down here. So now we're going to see what happens up around 110.80. Pretty ugly dollar chart now. Alien diagnosed it. Forex Stop Hunter diagnosed it. Hi, Jay. Dale. My name's Dale, Jay. How have you been, Jay? All right, Ricardo's got a, yeah, right here. I'm still going to wait for the equinox, see what happens in the S&Ps. But you're right. We're right there. Thank you, Rick. Here's Rick's look at the S&P. Right back to the breakdown there here. Everyone thank Rick. And then Midas has a look in the short Swiss, which is really the inverse of nice trade, man. Wow. You caught the spike? You're a lion. You're a lion, Midas. Nice shot. Everyone congratulate Midas and thank Rick. Thank you, guys. Mystic has something. The guppy at resistance. You're short here, Mystic. Short up here. Yeah. With a 9-pip stop. Wow. Oh no. Yeah. 10-pip stop. Thank you, Mystic. I'm going to thank Mystic for showing this live trade here with a 10-pip stop and a huge objective to the downside. Thank you, Mystic. Hi, Cyric. How are you, buddy? Yeah, the congestion there. Nice shot, Midas. Thank you, everyone, for your shares. Our interview should be coming shortly with Miad Kasravi. Everyone doing okay? Okay, thank you, Mystic. So I think we're all prepared. I think people should have made money being short the dollar this week. So Lar was on the right side of this dollar trade. Nice work, Larians. No one was surprised by the dollar weakness in Lar. Good job. Good job. Stick around for our interview with Miad. Should be here pretty soon. Do you guys like that "You Ain't Nothing But a Drawdown" song? S&Ps are reversing a little bit here. It's great to have Midas back here. Okay, so Midas is given an example of his supply-demand methodology with saying look to the left for the supply, which is what we got into. Great example of your method, Midas. Thank you. And then Jay has something here. Is it the S&Ps, buddy? Oh, yeah, right there. 0.75, 1991. Thank you, Jay. Thank you, Midas. Thank you, my trading warrior brothers, for your great looks. Excellent work this week. You guys are the best. You guys are the best. I think we have the greatest community on the net, paid or not or free. Sarek made a great call. You want to show your bullish white swan? Yeah. Midas is a pro. Sarek, you want to show your bullish white swan that took 2-3 days to manifest? It was a great harmonic call in the euro. If you want to post it, go ahead. How's everyone doing? Euro's almost at that 111. You took a euro short, Tosin, you're a shooter. So here's the pattern that Sarek showed early in the week. A bullish white swan. I'm going to have to ask Scott Carney about it. So this was a great call by Sarek. He was showing it down here. So we're already at one of his targets. He has targets all the way up here. Everyone congratulate and thank Sarek for making this call in the euro. I think he was showing it Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday it started to manifest, and today in spades. Great work, Sarek. Thank you for your contributions to our community. So this is what I mean, that everyone in LAR, from the analysis provided by the community, should not have been short the euro. You guys agree with me? He also showed this one. Holy Grail. So very good analysis. No one surprised in LAR what happened to the dollar this week that I know of. Yeah, on the weekly. So good work. Excellent work this week, Sarek. Thank you. Thank you for giving us, preparing us in advance for what happened in the euro this week. Rick, thank you for everything you've done for the community. So I see a few new handles in here. We have BW. Welcome to LAR. Welcome BW to LAR. Dion, Sarek's here. Dion, Forex, Pipper, Ibby, J, Burrell, JJ, Midas, Mahale, Mystic, Ricardo, Sinatra, SW, Tosin, Then we have all the anonymous people here today. Quite a few anonymous people here. Nice work, Larians, to not get caught long the dollar this week. That's all I could say. Tolson's on fire. He's fading this move in the euro right here. Don't fade Tolson. He's pretty good. Tolson said he was almost dead before he found LAR. He's definitely got his market field back. So glad that LAR lifted you up, Tolson, because it looks like you're firing away with a very good hit rate lately. So Tolson's a pro, and even the pros can benefit from being here with us. That was from his own lips. I'm not putting words in his mouth. Tolson said I was almost dead before I found LAR. That's a pretty good testimonial coming from a pro. Don't you guys agree? Thank you, Tolson. You said that, right, Tolson? What's Rick got here? 110.80, yeah. And look, Rick, you got 1, 2, 3 maybe here. Thank you, Rick. Everyone thank Rick. Rick made a great presentation this week as well on Tuesday. Great member interview by Ricardo Dinger on Tuesday. Thank you for your contributions to our community, my brother Ricardo. Oh, you said I don't know, a week ago that before you found LAR, your account was almost dead, and that you got your confidence back being back in here. Did I read you correctly? I don't want to put out any false hype, but I believe you said that. Okay, there's confirmation. Oh, so the use less leverage song helped. All right, buddy. I was telling Midas that people have that song in their head. They can't get rid of it. Goldie is haunted by it. Yeah, I have Gaz, yeah. UGAZ. Ready to buy more at 40, Midas. Thank you for the charts that you sent me on Skype today. Very interesting. Great to have you back. Midas 007. Oh, there's a man who lives a life of danger. Everyone he meets, he stays a stranger. In every move he makes, another chance he takes. Odds are he won't live to see tomorrow. Secret Midas man, secret Midas man. They're giving you a number and taking away your name. No, that was that was Secret Agent Man by Johnny Rivers. That made Jax cry again. I love you, Jax. I don't know why I laugh every time. Why it makes me laugh. All you have to do is text that song. That song makes me cry, and it makes me laugh. It makes me laugh when you say that song makes me cry. I have no idea why, but that's my reason. And not that I, want to laugh at your misery. They're not going to leave. I don't like making anyone cry. I don't know. I'll call Noster Pinkert over the weekend, Jay, and get back to you on that on Monday. Noster Pinkert took the day off today. He's a little exhausted from calling the top of the dollar this week. 2023 in S&Ps. Hi, Miad. You're going to want to turn off the volume. Is Miad in the room, in the hangout room? Let me ask Adinda. Did you get the link? If you have the link, that's where you come in for the interview. So Miad's going to be our guest. Okay. So you should have a link in your email from Adinda at FX Street, Miad. And then we'll begin the interview. So join us in Hangout and mute the LAR room. Mute the LAR room. Okay? No link. You should have an email from Adinda at FX Street. I use the Gmail you provided on Twitter. Okay, if the volume's off in here, there'll be no echo. Waiting for you. Nice shot, Tolson, on the euro. Everyone doing all right? Waiting for Miad to join us in the Hangout. Miad's Twitter handle is at ZFX Trading. Meantime, everyone doing okay? You too, Rick. Thank you for all you shared with us this week, Rick. You're a Top Gun, buddy. Have a nice weekend. Everyone say goodbye to Top Gun, Ricardo Dinger, who did a great interview with us on Tuesday. It's recorded. Watch it over the weekend. Thank you, Ricardo. I think Miad is with us now. There he is. Hi, Miad. Thank you for joining us today. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. How are you doing, Dale?
Okay, very nice to meet you, buddy. So thank you for joining us. I I searched, I couldn't find your bio, so I'm not sure if you sent it to me or not, but it doesn't matter. Why don't you tell us how long you've been doing this and how it began for you, who motivated you, who was the catalyst for you getting involved in this financial Disneyland, and how much do you bench press? You look like a big guy, man. I'd rather have you as a friend than an adversary. So, why don't you tell us about the beginning of your journey into trading, Miad?
Yeah, it started back in '09. One of my friends gave me a book about Forex trading. So I catched up on that, read through it. You know, the usual stuff: indicators, what's the foreign currency exchange, the whole shebang. So that got me into it a little bit, but I didn't really start trading Forex back then. I more got into stock trading. As I happened to be at the time, I was just enrolling into military. So I've catched up with one of my friends down in the military as well. He was interested into stock trading, so we were stock trading together all along, just trading buddies basically.
Well, what military? Where are you from, and where do you trade from, Miad?
So right now I trade from Scotland, but I was in military in Iran.
Oh wow. Okay.
That's a stretch, right?
Okay, so you have quite a geopolitical background. Let me ask you this, and I am getting an echo. I don't know if it's me. Why did you leave Iran, and how did you choose Scotland as being anywhere in the globe that you could have chosen? Why Scotland?
As a matter of fact, I was born in Germany, Dale. And then I was there until I was like 12, 13. Then moved to Iran for a while, and I met my wife who is Scottish, so that's why I moved down here.
Now I look. We know as a husband myself, buddy. We're gonna go where the wife's family is, right? Huh? Come on, who wears the pants in the family? We say we do, but we know who does. So. That's a great explanation. How do you like living there? Because, you know, I want to mention something. I interview some pretty famous guys, and that are real, you know, bearish. They're talking about war cycles and pandemic cycles and sovereign debt default cycles. And one of them is Martin Armstrong. And when I was talking to Marty, and he was talking about all these potential crises that are developing in the world, I said, well, Marty, you know, I don't want to be in the middle of it. I'd rather watch it on TV. And it was hard for me to get it out of him, but he mentioned two places to be that it will not be chaotic, and he mentioned Scotland and an island off of New Zealand. So, wow, man, great choice. So no matter what happens, if markets crash and everything, you're in the right spot. Much better than the Middle East anyway, where you're going to have to duck if you live there, right?
I imagine so. That's right, buddy.
So why don't you tell us, did you have any mentors yourself, or are you pretty self-taught?
I was a yes and no. So I was a pretty tough and pretty famous stock trader back in Iran who we attended his classes, me and my military buddy. So he mentored us way, but it was more really stock market related and Iranian stock market, so the Tehran Stock Exchange. I moved on to that, and in 2011, 2012, started actively trading Forex based on technical analysis mostly, where stock market I used to do technical and fundamental, but it was a bit different because I wasn't really up to date with English either back then. So it was difficult to extract fundamentals from Forex when you can't understand the language. So I've done a little bit technical. Back then, developed my own system. Pretty much took some losses, blew account on one probably, and then took it from there. And it's been great ever since. So it worked out. Had a stock background, knew how to deal with risk. I knew you can lose, and I know if you get it right, you can get it right really good.
Okay, so we have a feature here in Hangout, Miad. It's in the upper left-hand corner, the green box with the arrow. If you click that, we could do a screen share and take a look at what you're looking at. Every day you could share your laptop, desktop, and show us some charts and give us a feel for what you've developed, your own proprietary stuff that, you know, we all think that what we're doing is original, but a lot of it isn't. So, okay, I got your chart up here. Are you a big candlestick guy? Did you read Steve Neeson? Who influenced you to use sticks instead of bars? Why candlesticks?
Question. I've really fell into line charts and candlesticks. I know I was in the tuition of the bar chartists, so I never really had an opportunity to engage too much with bars. And when I was already too deep into candlesticks, it felt uncomfortable to work with bars. You see.
I get it. Yeah. So are candles part of your system? Knowing what, I don't know how many different definitions there are for different types of candles, but is that part of the equation where you identify what type of candle you have and what the implications of the moves in the market will be?
Absolutely. So the way I approach it, I always look for the main driver, the dynamics, what's driving, where are we going? Are we liquidity searching? Is market pushing because it's scared? Is it or is there any other things coming up? So that's the whole driver in the back of my mind. Candlesticks help me to understand what the market is absorbing from the background information. But it's more the broader picture. Sometimes I bring in volume into the game to just see how levels are reacting together with candlesticks, merging that with volume. That sometimes helps to get a deeper understanding, and usually take it from there.
Let me ask you this. We had a red event today, the NFP. Do you hold positions into the NFP, or do you wait for red events to take place and then react to them?
Usually I like to take position the day before it, but as it happened to be, let me show you your USD chart right here.
So you like to carry positions into the NFP?
Absolutely, because I usually have a mindset where things are going. I like to say I try to stay well informed. So NFP result could be one thing, but it always depends what the market reacting to it, isn't it? So it could be good NFP results, and you see it plummeting. It's not always indicative. You want to see what the market thinks about good NFP numbers. It definitely didn't escape it. We had great NFP numbers. That's what was 295K.
Yeah, the headline was great. The underlying wasn't as great.
Because the hourly earnings went down.
Yeah.
However, I think that's still quite bullish. I think a lot of people were scared that the hike is off. It's sort of back on in the game, isn't it?
Yes. So someone in here commented that they love your German, Iranian, Scottish accent.
That's it.
All right. So you said you mainly trade intraday. So that kind of flies in the face of you looking for things to do the day before the NFP. So you do swing trade, don't you?
I do swing trade. I do enjoy intraday moves because they unfold quicker. Okay. That's really the main reason behind it. They unfold quicker, and you can be in a hustle and bustle when things are happening right there. But when you're swing trading, you can see your floating PLL is going crazy all the time. But what I'm usually after, Dale, is no-brainer trades. So if I form an idea that something is supposed to happen in the background of the market, and I see a signal going with it, then that's when I step in. I just
okay. So you start with your biases, and then you look for technical confirmation of your bias.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I've got it. So give me an example. You were going to talk about the pound. So you had a bias coming into the NFP on the pound, and technically it was confirmed.
It wasn't on the pound. It was on the fiber, Euro USD.
Okay.
I get to the pound. Pound
Okay.
is getting pounded lately a lot as well. I'm get there. So what I've got is a daily chart of the Euro USD. Right. Let me zoom out a
Right.
bit.
See
That's the
it.
daily chart. Here we had
Okay.
this big green candle. That's when Draghi disappointed the
Yeah.
market a bit. And
Yeah.
here was the shakeout from the 5-minute earlier tweet from FT that shook out the market, where they said, don't know if you heard about it.
I remember the day.
So that was a great move. I was already short on that and just got closed out, to be honest. I wasn't on the up move. I was already short into that event and then just got
Okay.
shaken out. Back and forth, we had a couple of good plays shorting it, but my whole consensus towards Euro was that it's supposed to go down into the March meeting. Further and then further probably easing from the EU. However, down here, if you see that candle there, or even both candles, these are commonly known as pin bars.
Right.
Not every pin bar is really a big mover, or even a mover at all. You could see these two pin bars that didn't move at all. But I was really concerned about them too. I felt like they moved into a really nice liquidity cluster here, rejected it, had low volume. It was sort of a good setup for a signal for me to buy. However, my bias is short, so I wouldn't be looking to hold this out for too long. Managed to get an entry about 1.088. Currently sitting at break even on my account, but it's running good, but I'm not really holding out for this one too long. As again, my bias is that I'm looking for the Euro USD to roll lower.
Okay. So with this recent bounce, that I think probably a lot of it was everyone looking for 104 again, that we have one more rally before we start heading down again. Based upon what you see, what I see on your charts, there's no reason for me to short the euro yet. What are you looking for? Do you have any zones where you're looking to initiate short positions for what you're expecting out of the ECB? When's the ECB? I think next week.
That sounds about right. So I'm hoping the ECB delivers and says they're going to ease and just basically play into the hands of the speculators. So do you see the breakout here we had not a long while ago, around here? And to that area, if I get a signal, I'd be looking to short further, and I hold on to my position, move into break even, and see what happens. See if I can get into the 04, as you mentioned, levels, because that's my ultimate goal. That's to the EU. The pound's been really.
Well, before we leave the EU, do you have a intermediate term bias on the euro that the March lows that you showed, that Draghi event, and then we retested it a few months ago, that eventually we're going to take out 104 or 105? Or do you think that the alternate count is before that happens, we might even see 115 again? So are you a long-term euro bear still?
Yeah, absolutely am. There's structural no reason for me to believe otherwise.
Okay.
So technicals aren't really playing into the speculative way if you're looking at the global macro. However, I would say so. It should. What I understand from my understanding is that it should move lower.
Okay. And your major resistance areas between here and say 110.70.
So that would be my first play to look at. If that gets tripped, then I wait. Then I will wait probably for higher levels. But for now, given that we had good NFP numbers, this is moving up. I don't have any other explanation but liquidity surge.
Yeah, too many bears. That's the explanation.
That's a bear trap.
Yeah. So okay, have your view on the euro. You said you wanted to move to cable next. Why don't you go ahead?
Cable or even other related ones. So we've got a cable here. We had this great gap last week, didn't we? Right there.
Yeah, that was after in EU meeting that it looked like there was going to be a solution and there wouldn't be a Brexit. We rallied, and then the following Monday, Sunday night, we gapped down. Correct?
That's right. That's
Okay.
right. And it kept on falling and falling and falling. So what happened is Cameron thought that he's got some sort of a deal, and then the bad thing was that the mayor of the city, Boris Johnson, said, "I think we're better off if you leave the EU." So that created a lot of havoc in the Conservatives. I think the market didn't take that well. So we had a nice 450 move down there with a gap 550. But that's always the thing with a gap, Dale. Don't know, it might be just me, but a lot of my trading friends say the same. It always feels like when there's a gap, there's like dead bodies left behind waiting to get buried.
Yeah.
But
So we didn't quite get into the gap area. Most people say gaps are meant to be filled.
yeah,
But there are some gaps that aren't filled for eons.
that's
They're not
absolutely
just
right.
area gaps. You don't have many gaps in the FX market because of the 24-hour nature of it. You have a lot more gaps in stocks because they close, and here we never close. So there are some gaps that aren't closed for a long time. There's
You're
different kinds of
absolutely
gaps. There's a breakaway gap, a runaway gap, an exhaustion gap. I learned about gaps, but you really don't have a lot of gaps in the FX arena. So is your belief that it looks like you'd have a trend line up there, confluence of the gap being filled and a downtrend coming in around the same area, up there around that 143.44 level?
We speak the same language, Dale. There you are. So that's my consensus. I don't have any bullish bias on the cable whatsoever or on the sterling. I don't believe there's any reason for it to rally anywhere apart from really just trying to take out some clusters or dealers trying to balance the books. There's still Brexit fear going on. People are not sure about how people are going to vote down in Britain. If they're going to leave the EU, a lot of things are going to change, and that's creating a lot of uncertainty for investors. So I don't think we see any great inflows into the GBP. And that will reflect, I think you're going to see a better reflect against the CCY currencies, as they're currently really doing good.
What currencies?
CCY, so currencies like against the Aussie, the
Oh, okay. All right. So you like trading the cable against the commodity currencies, those crosses?
Absolutely. Reason is, I strongly believe we are getting back into the, it's not confirmed yet, but I strongly believe we're getting back into the RORO scheme again, i.e. risk on, risk off. It kind of faded away 2-3 years ago, if I'm not mistaken. So back in the 2-3 years ago, it was pretty easy to gauge what's happening. If there was risk on, risk off, you could see the commodities going up and down easily like that, or everybody buying into the yen when they got scared. Lately, I
So
found.
you're implying, yeah, we used to have dollar down, everything up. When it was risk on, it was the dollar declining and everything going up. And that's kind of changed in the last 6 months, where actually a stronger dollar has meant risk on, and a weaker dollar has meant risk off. So you think we're gonna revert back to a weaker dollar being risk on instead of
I strongly like to see that. I don't really have 100% confirmation on that yet, but the way things are developing, I highly believe we're falling back into that. That doesn't mean necessarily it's easier to make money or it's going to be a bit more difficult. It just means we have to adapt to the new dynamics.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you need to see that correlation shift for a period of time before you believe that correlation is going to hold, because that threw a lot of people off over the last year. Dollar down, they expected stocks to go up, and
Absolutely.
it's actually been the reverse.
That's right.
So, okay, so why don't you tell me a little bit about what ZBX trading is and what you do there?
CFX trading, what I do there, see between the early years when I was doing Forex and just doing technical, I used the line charts a lot. And there I came across sort of a pattern that developed just before market rallied, mostly on lower time frames. And I developed a bit more, studied it further, made it my own. And on my webpage, I explain about it, what the pattern is. It's basically a fractal pattern that allows you to enter the market when it's exhausted itself. It's just pushing up, and just before it wants to revert, you could see the pattern.
Do you have an example you could show?
For today, for instance, let me move on to the line charts. We've got, for instance, one over at the, it's pretty much a Z pattern right there on the 4-hourly. I move back onto the candlestick chart. This one would be for me a Z pattern. It's one of the forms of Z pattern. I go a little bit more into depth on the web page, but that would be a Z pattern.
So this is your own company, Z Trading?
Yeah, I wouldn't call it a company. It's more education web page, and like to interact with other traders.
Okay, so you teach and mentor.
Yeah, I would say so. It's not a business yet, but just try to go along with other traders as well. It's just keeping social.
Okay.
Back to Z. So that for me would be a Z pattern. I recall I've traded this breakout a little bit lower because I wasn't active on that day, but from there on we had a nice break. We already had a downtrend, so that would have been for me a valid Z pattern. Also trade into a good zone. And after that, we had a pretty good drop after that. So sort of stuff like that. But it's really working on the line charts, going back into the candlestick, and then getting confirmation a little bit from the background as well. But I think it should. It's a great pattern if you like to use in conjunction with your own analysis, and it's just another way of getting a signal out of the market.
Okay. So anything you want to wrap it with? You want to show people your web page, and I've already given people that Miad's. Am I pronouncing your name correct? Is it Miad?
Yes, correct. Yeah.
Okay, and your Twitter handle is at ZFX Trading. Is your Twitter handle?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so why don't we just switch gears and wrap it? What do you think about the nuclear accord between the U.S. and Iran? And you still have family back there, and the recent elections looks like it was a bit of a kind of a confirmation of a little bit more of the progressives in Iran, kind of almost like an affirmation of Rouhani's policies. Iran is a dynamic economy. It's an ancient civilization. Are you hopeful that they may be on the verge of re-entering the world community long term, or is this just a little detour on the road? And do you ever go back there?
Let's start with the last question first. Yeah, I certainly go back there. I've got my mother down there, so yeah, I will definitely go and visit her. It's I think it's always a different mindset when you've been in a country or just heard about it on the news, especially Middle Eastern country. When you look at the news, you just think like that's a wreck. I don't really want to go there. It's just not safe. As it happens to be, they are quite safe, and feel quite safe going there. Lived there for a while as well. It's just, we're all humans, we're all the same. And
and the demographics are very positive. Very positive. It's a very young country. The demographics, great demographics of a young population. So it could be an emerging economy in the Middle East. I don't want to get into politics of what's happening, Syria-wise and all of that. Why don't I ask you what the U.S. looks like from Scotland and your background with the devolution of rhetoric in the U.S. silly political season here. What are people saying in Scotland about what's happening in the U.S. presidential season? Go ahead. It's my show. You can say anything. Go ahead.
Right. Everybody's pretty much thinking that that Trump is just out of his mind. You know, he's got no way to become a president. America, United States, is a strong country. It's lean economies. You know, if things go pear-shaped with somebody with Trump at the head, then that's nothing you really want to relate yourself with, to, isn't it?
Yes.
I put it in the most nicest way I could. My friends have got different ideas
Okay.
about it. Yeah.
All right. Well, you know what? You could be a diplomat. You could be an ambassador. So, very diplomatic response from your multicultural background and geographic location, Miad. It was a pleasure meeting you. I encourage people to check out Miad's proprietary Z pattern. It could be another tool for people to put in their trading arsenal. And I wish you nothing but success and pips rain down on you and people you teach and your family throughout this year, Miad. Thank you for bearing with me when I double booked our interview a few months ago, and appreciate you coming on.
No, that's all right. It was a great day, great NFP numbers. I enjoyed the interview. It's great chatting with you, and look forward to see you again.
Okay, well, you know what you are now? You've joined the stable of my trading warrior brothers. Good hunting, Miad, and thank you very much for your time today.
Shield and swords. Take care,
buddy. All right, you could close the hangout anytime, and always feel free to jump into LAR, share your work. I really am a big believer in social trading. Being surrounded by traders better than me has lifted my level of trading up. So if you ever want to come in and contribute, you always have an open invitation. Okay, partner?
Thanks.
All right, buddy. Everyone thank Miad
Kasravi
for his sharing his work and taking time out of a busy trading day to be with us, talk about things. The gist for me is Miad's a dollar bull, a euro and cable bear, and we'll see how things develop into next week. You could close out the hangout at any time, Miad. Have a great weekend.
You too, TJ, guys. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Okay. So, guys, kind of been a long day for me, long week. So you guys are sharing. There's been some nice scalps. Tolson's getting rich. Tocino's getting rich. Trading everywhere. Sinatra had a look I want to show about dollar bears. Where is that? Dixie bullish divergence in 1 hour. Let me show what Sinatra's looking at, because I think there, still could be some follow through. Yeah, nice look, Sinatra. Looks like the second drive. Okay. Everyone thanks Sinatra. Looks like we have one, we have two. Maybe we get a rally into early next week and then finish it off down around 96.70, 96.50. Excellent look from Sinatra. Everyone thanks Sinatra for his Dixie view. A lot of you guys are becoming divergence fans here, I've noticed. Thank you, Sinatra. Everyone have a good week. Nice top pick in the euro by Tocino. I think Ricardo took it too. I forgot what Ricardo's target was before he left. Looks like we're already off about 40, 50 pips or so from the high in the euro. So you gamblers, you short-term traders, nice work. I think I'm going to wrap it up a little early today. I want to start thanking everyone individually. Let's see who's here to thank. I want to thank Mauricio, BW, Cyric, Dion, Forex Pipper, FX John, how are you? Ibby, Jay Carell, Mark S50, Mystic, Ricardo, Sinatra, SW, Tessino, and all you anonymous people out there. Looking forward to having another great week with everyone next week. I really don't think anyone should have been surprised with the dollar move that we've had in the last few days. We were looking for it. So we'll take a look next week as seen as this dollar break for real, for a big break in the dollar. I don't think so. I want to see where a lot of things are at. Okay. Bottom long term. Want to see where things are at. I've been talking about the equinox. Norm Winsky's cluster around the 23rd to 25th, I think is going to be important. Whichever direction markets are going into that time frame, I think is going to be significant. What do you guys think? So we're only about 2.5, 3 weeks away from that. We have a couple of eclipses to pay attention to based upon Norm's work. So why don't we wrap it with what was the best thing that happened to each and every one of you this week? Nice trading, Mark. Thank you, Mystic, for providing your work. Why don't we wrap it with the highlight of your week? What was the highlight of your week? Highlights? Ashraf interview. Getting out of gold. Sinatra being with his son. Miad. Pound Aussie shorts, taking a walk. Nice, Dion. Pipper 2 hours and Lara every day. So my wrap-up's going to be brief. And it all comes down to this, that we correctly identified this 98.50 resistance level for the dollar to at least correct this recent advance. That's manifesting. I'm looking at 96.5 as a fib retracement, kind of a line in the sand. I think if we start getting through 6.5, maybe we could challenge these lows. But my bias is to look for a dollar buying opportunity, a euro shorting opportunity, a pound shorting opportunity when I see the Dixie between 96.5 and 96 in the coming days, if that manifests. Use Less Leverage is one of the favorite songs by Casino. But we have a new song, so I think I'll wrap it with You Ain't Nothing But a Drawdown. What do you think? Wrap it with You Ain't Nothing But a Drawdown? Huh? Ready? You ain't nothing but a drawdown and a margin call. You ain't nothing but a drawdown and a margin call. But I ain't scared 'cause I still believe the call. Never said I was perfect, but I'm more right than wrong. Never said I was perfect, but I'm more right than wrong. Because that would be a lie, and I could look you in the eye. Watch me fly. You ain't nothing but a drawdown and a margin call. You ain't nothing but a drawdown and a margin call. But I ain't scared, 'cause I still believe the call. Have a great weekend, everyone. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Look at your weekly charts over the weekend. And I'll be back with you, God willing, on Monday. Right? Nice work, Larians. Enjoy your weekend. And I'll see everyone on Monday. Deal? We have a deal. I'll see everyone on Monday. All right, everyone. See you guys. Adios. I'm breathless.